Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana zidna ilma, Allahumma faqihna fid din. Allahumma anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa 'allimna ma yanfa'una wa zidna ilma walhamdulillahi ala kulli hal. So here we are with our session number 90, and inshallah I'm going to start with a verse from Surah Al-Baqarah. Sister Ranas wanted to go over it. This is verse number 164 of Surah Al-Baqarah, and we will quickly go over it and see what we need to understand from it, okay? So this verse starts from the word inna. So when you have a word inna, what comes to your mind? What kind of a word inna is? Among the three categories of words that you have been taught, which category does it belong to? Ism, fail, or harf? Is inna ism? It's a harf, right? It's a harf, it's harf nasb, right? And after we determine that it is harf, then we'll understand what kind of a harf it is. It is harf nasb, and when we see harf nasb inna, we know that this is going to start a sentence which is going to be called jumla ismiya or jumla failya. Because inna is a harf that affects mubtada of the sentence. If you remember, when we were learning inna, anna, kaana, layta, la'alla, lakinna, we have learned there that these haruf are called harufe nasikha. Why are they called harufe nasikha? What do they do naskh of? Remember? Naskh means abrogation, cancellation. Whatever was the previous ruling is now changed, right? So your mubtada was rough is supposed to be rough in status. When inna attacks the mubtada, what does it do to the mubtada? It makes the mubtada nasb, right? So inna, anna, kaanna, layta, la'alla, lakinna, you start thinking about jumla ismiya. Number one and number two, remember these are your haruf. These are your haruf, all haruf in Arabic. All haruf in Arabic are la muhalla lahu min al-i'rab. After you look for inna, after you look at inna, you look for ismu inna, okay? So if ismu inna is not right after it, it will be at a distance. And remember, what did we learn in inna, anna, kanna? What did I teach you? What can be in between inna and its ism? Anyone remembers that? I taught you there can be two fragments that can occur between inna and its ism. One was jar wal majroor, good job. The second fragment that can be between inna and its ism can be a zarf, right? There can be either jar wal majroor or zarf that can come between inna and its ism. When we were learning about inna, the same time, around that time, we started to learn about, and actually in our second term, we learned about there can be something that can be attached to ismu inna and can make it slide to the end of towards the end of the words. If this entity attaches itself to an ism of inna, it makes an ism slide to the end of the sentence, towards the end of the sentence, and that muzahlaqa. What was that muzahlaqa? Yes, that was muzahlaqa. Was it mim muzahlaqa, noon muzahlaqa, or lam muzahlaqa? Lam muzahlaqa, yeah, right? So remember that, okay? So lam, you learned few types of lams. There was one lamul ibtida, lamul muzahlaqa, and then lamul fariqa. So among those three, this one is called muzahlaqa, which means sliding lam. It makes ism of inna or khabar of inna slide, and whatever it attaches itself to now will be towards the end. It can attach to both khabar and ism of inna. Remember that, okay, inshallah. So now you have inna fi halqi. What is fi halqi? You have reviewed that there can be jar wal majroor fragment or zarf idafa that can come between inna and its ism. So this fi halqi is jar wal majroor, And since we know inna is beginning our jumla ismiya, so this is going to be mutaliq bil khabar. Barakallahu feek. Halqis samawati. What is happening here? Real quick, Ranaz, I need a lot of answers from you because this was your question and we are doing it for you. This is an idafa. Halqis samawati is an idafa. Now connect wal ardi with whatever is before. Atf, good job. And al ardi was ma'tuf. What is the ma'tuf alayhi? Because in atf fragment you have ma'tuf alayhi, harf atf, and then comes ma'tuf. So be very careful while identifying the ma'tuf alayhi, because if you do not do so, you will make lots of mistakes. And when you make lots of mistakes, there will be a mistake in your understanding as well. So see, it is ma'tuf alayhi. In this case is as-samawati, because there are lots of vowels here and you need to find the correct ma'tuf alayhi for each and every one of the word that you are going to come across in this verse, inshallah. Okay. Indeed, in the creation of the skies and the earth, waqtilafi. Waqtilafi. What is waqtilafi? Again, waw atf, harf atf, ikhtilafi. Ikhtilafi, what is that? Ikhtilafi is another matuf. Where is the matuf alayhi for this word? Where is the matuf alayhi for ikhtilafi? Very well done. It is ma'tuf ala khalqi. It is ma'tuf ala, the ma'tuf alayhi for this word is khalqi. Remember that. Indeed, in the creation of the skies and the earth and the succession, what is happening now? Ikhtilafi layli. What is the relationship between these two words? Idafa, barakallahu fi, wan nahari. Atf, an-nahari is ma'tuf. What is the ma'tuf ilayhi for an-nahari, my dear sisters? Very well done. Al-layli. Barakallahu feek, sister Shameen. Yes, it is al-layli. Al-layli is ma'tuf alayhi for an-nahari. Okay. Now, the question was ikhtilafi. So think about it. Indeed, in the creation of the skies and the earth and the succession of the night and the day. So ikhtilafi cannot be matuf for as-samawat. It does not make sense. In the creation of ikhtilaf, it's not, the verse is not talking about the creation of the ikhtilaf, creation of the succession. Verse is talking about indeed in the creation of the skies and the earth and succession of the night and day. So therefore, ikhtilaf has a matuf alayhi, that is khalqi. Is it understood? Sister Anas, make sense or no? This chunk is all connected. Okay, this chunk is all connected. Let's just, make it easy for each and every one of us. So this chunk is all connected. Then you have connected everything here so far. Okay. Now comes another vow for you. What are you going to call this vow? Atf, barakallahu feek. I'm also going to call it atf. Al-fulki. Al-fulki obviously is going to be matuf, right? It is matuf. So where is the matuf alayhi for al-fulki? Is it an-nahar or somewhere else is the matuf alayhi for this? No, it cannot be that. Ships do not succeed. Ships do not come and go, right? Day, there's day and night. There is a difference of the day and night, right? They come in succession. But al-fulki, fulk is a ship. Ship does not, it's not that, in the morning ship comes and then in the evening it does not come, right? Yes, al-khalki, the ma'tuf alayhi for al-fulki is khalki, okay? It is ma'tuf ala khalki. Make sense or no? Everyone understood this? Yes or no? Indeed, in the creation of the skies and the earth, and the succession of the day, of the night and the day, and the ship. Allati. Now connect al-fulki with allati. Can you connect it? Is there any connection? Al-fulki, sifa. Barakallahu fiq. We just did mawsuf sifa. Barakallahu fiq. Yes, al-fulki and allati are connected through mawsuf sifa. So this is a sifa, so it's all going to be together, right? Allati is a mawsul, and your ism mawsul is a naat or a sifa. When you have ism mawsul, what should you look after ism mawsul? Sila. You look for sila. So do you have one? Jumla failure is the silatul mawsul. Tajri fil bahri, right? They flow in the sea. Bima. What is tajri? And the ship which flows in the water, in the sea. So you have told me that your silatul mawsul is jumla failure, and jumla failure here is mudare. The fa'iluhu here is damir mustatir, hiya, right? Tajri, hiya tajri. Fil bahri is going to be jar wal majroor, mutalik bil, jar wal majroor, mutalik bil, fail, barakallahu feek, with connected with tajri, right? And then comes bima. What is bima? Jar wal majroor, another jar wal majroor, barakallahu feek. So it's going to be again, what are you going to call it? Jar wal majroor, you're seeing it in jumla failya. Now tell me, mutalik bil fail, right? To tajri, right? It flows in the sea with what? What is this ma? I'm calling it what? Have you learned this ma anywhere? So yes, it is with what? So what kind of ma is this? You have learned ma nafiya, and you have learned so far ma mausula. Barakallahu feek. This is ma mausula. So after finding out ma mausula, what is the second step you have to undertake? You cannot just move over it, right? You have to find sila, right? After every mausul, look for the sila. What kind of sila you have, my dear sisters? So yanfa'u is the sila. Barakallahu feek. Jumla failya, fail mudare. Failuhu damir mustatir hua. An-nasa is going to be, it benefits. Who does it benefit? An-nasa. Give me the labeling for an-nasa. We are in jumla failya. Jumla failya has a fail and a file. Yanfa'u was a fail. File was damir mustatir hua. And then comes your maf'ul bihi an-nasa. Because see, it's not jar wa majroor or zarf, right? An-nasa is not talking about places, time. An-nasa is not jar wal majroor, so just call it maf'ul bihi because it is answering your who question, right? Ma and man questions. Who, ma is what, and who questions are going to be ma and man. What and who questions are given by maf'ul bihi. So therefore, you are going to call an-nasa maf'ul bihi. So this is all connected. Yes or no? You can connect everything from al-fulki till an-nasa, yes or no? Anyone has any confusion about this part? Everything is connected. Now let's see if the next part is connected. Wama anzalallahu wa. This is atf, right? I'm going to call this atf. If you all agree with me, let me know. And if there is any disagreement, we will, I will like to address that as well. Okay. Yes, it is atf. Ma, what kind of ma are we seeing here? Very well done. It is mausul. What should I look after it? Sila. What kind of sila do I have? Very well done. Give me. So anzala, fail madin, right? Jumla failya, fail madin. I have jumla failya as my sila. So fail madin, fa'iluhu lafzul jalala, that has cancelled damir mustatir hua, right? Everyone agrees? I have an outside doer, right? So it will cancel damir mustatir hua. Minas samai is going to be jar wal majroor, mutalik bil fail. right? Mimma'in. So it's also jar wal majroor. At this stage, I'm going to call it mutalik bil fi'l fa ahya. What is this fa? Wama anzalallahu, and what Allah sends down from the sky in terms of water. Can it be rabita? Where do we see rabita? It cannot be rabita, right? Where do we learn rabita? Tell me. First, let's see shart. So is it shart? Yes or no? It's not, right? Tell me no, right? Okay, that's no sorries. You need to learn. You are here to learn. You're not here to, Alhamdulillah. So there is no you need to say sorry at all. Now, sababiya. Where do we learn sababiya? What should be the prerequisite for sababiya? Either the sentence has to be preceded by nafi, or it has to be preceded by talb. Huh? Talb, talb, talb. Do you see any talb here or nafi here before this fa, my dear sisters? Do we see any fail amr? Do we see any question? Do we see any fail dahi? Do we see any any irregular af'al, or do we see anything any tahdeed, any urging, anything like that? No, right? So can fa connect? Have you ever seen fa as a connecting fa? Right? Fa atf. Huh? Can we call it atf? My dear sisters, what do you think? We can call it atf. Huh? We can call it atf. Okay. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is narrating everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends water from the sky. Then what he does is he ahya. Ha, ya are the root letters. And the last ha, it was ya. So it has to change into alif. It had to change into alif because it was the last ya was preceded by a letter with a fatha. Therefore, it got changed into an alif. So what does it look like? Fail, does it look like a fail? Yes or no? Past tense, yes, it is a past tense. It's fail madin. After you have determined that there's a fail, which is fail madin, you look for file. With every fail, think about file or a pronoun. Okay, if it's a passive, then it is going to be naibul file. But if it is a ma'loom fail, you look for a file. Who is the file? Can you see it? Very well done. It is damir mustatir huwa. It is damir mustatir huwa. Then comes bihi. Then he gives life with it. Jar wal majroor, mutalik will fail al arda. Al arda. How will you connect al arda with the whatever is before? Al arda. Very carefully look at the word. Then he gives life with it to the earth. Who does it? Who does he give life to? Right? Al earth. What does he give life to? Al earth. Right? So al earth is the maful bihi. Everyone agrees, right? With Sister Shamim. Sister Shamim is right, right? We all agree with her. Alhamdulillah. So now comes your Ba'da Mautiha, after its death. Ba'da Mauti. Connect these two together. No. Do you see anything after it in a rough status, my dear sister? Ranas? No, so there is no, so that is why we are going to call, that is when we are going to call Damir Mustatir Hua as a file. Okay? If there was an outside doer, we will call outside doer the file, just as we called Allahu, Lafzul Jalala here, but in this case, you will call file Damir Mustatir Hua. Okay? And Bada Mautiha, very well done. It is an idafa. Mautiha is another idafa. Bada has to do with the time is zarf. It is zarf after its death. It's zarf zaman. After it's a time, right? Makan is about the place, and zaman is about the time. Make sense, right? Right. So after you, when you have a zarf idafa or something like that, what can you call this zarf? I told you, you can just call it very easy something. Yes, you can just call it zarf, but you have to give it another labeling, which is mutalik bil fail. Barakallahu feek. Yes, you can call it mutalik bil fail ahya, right? Hmm? You just call it mutalik bil fail. Make sense? Yeah. So far, that you can call zarf as mutalik bil as well. Okay, we've been doing it a little bit, right, in the past. Now comes what? Wabassa. Atf again. Bassa. What is bassa? Bassa was actually basasa, but Arabs are very smart. They don't want to prolong things, so it is changed into bassa. They just merge it. They do idgham. Okay, so there's a merging here. There's an idgham there. It became bassa from basasa, like nasara. So it is fail madin. So who's the doer? Fail is there. You have to look for a doer. You have to tell me the doer. And because it is a ma'loom, so I have to have a doer. It is the main mustatir huwa fiha. jar wal majroor mutalik bil basa min kulli dabbah. And he spreads in it every kind of creature. Jar wal majroor again, and this is again, you can just, call it mutalik bil fail. Can I just connect everything like this and make it another? No, not this color. It's going to be very confusing for everyone then. Okay, let's change it. Can this be all together? And what Allah sends down from the sky, then He gives life with it to the earth after its death, and He spreads in it every kind of creature. Give me the status of this Ma Mausula. Yes, it is. Just imagine and just see the beauty. If me and my sister were just going over these concepts, and we never have found this beauty in art. I think as much beauty as we are finding it just recently in these past couple of years. That what a beautiful fragment art is. You will inshallah learn many other nuances with atf inshallah, but for now you just see how things are connected. Just see the beauty in Quran. Okay, so what is the status of this ma? Give me the status. Very well done, very well done. I have a person with a very good brain with for grammar in class. I have all the sisters who are very, very smart. Barakallahu peak, Sister Shamim, and all my dear sisters. But Barakallahu peak, very well done. See, this ma, and why? What is the ma'tuf? Again, ma'tuf alayhi. What is the ma'tuf alayhi for ma? Is it an-nasa? Khalki. See, indeed, in the creation of the skies and the earth, and the succession of the night and the day, and the ship that flows in the sea, with what benefits the people, and what Allah has sent down from the sky, water, then He gives life with it. And this min ma'in, there was another way to put a label on it, but for now, I just, will keep it simple, because it's actually, what is it actually doing? It's actually this min ma'in is actually explaining your ma and what Allah sent down from the sky. What does Allah send down from the sky, my dear sisters? What comes from the sky? Rain or water, ma'in, right? So this ma is actually being explained by this mim ma'in, but this is going to be too advanced at this stage, so just leave it as mutalik bil fail. But we will inshallah come back to this verse when we will do a level above this level, inshallah, and then I will try to explain how you are going to treat this mimma in. Okay. Then it gives with then he gives with it then he gives life with it to the earth after its death, and he spreads in it every kind of creature. Then comes وَتَصْرِيفِ الرِّيَاحِ, and the alterations of the winds. So what is this vow? At tasrif riyah. What are we going to call this? Idafa. Very well done. This is an idafa. Tasrifi. What is the after vow? You are seeing tasrif. So obviously this is matuf. Where is the matuf alayhi for tasrif? Khalki. Okay, I agree. I agree. والصحابي المسخري مسخري. What is this? Can you connect these two together? This is again vow at السحاب المسخري السحاب المسخري. These two السحاب as al موصوف صفة, right? This is موصوف صفة, cannot be idafa, right? Because the first word has al here. So this is again as-sahab al-musaqqari is موصوف صفة, and this is wow as-sahabi is matuf. Where is the matuf alayhi for this? As-sahabi is matuf because it is coming after waw at, right? So we have to find its matuf alayhi. So again its matuf alayhi is going to be khalki. Make sense? And I'm going to translate it. It's going to make more sense, inshallah. Okay, 1 second. Let's just make it highlight it. Okay. So now comes bainas samai. Bainas samai. And the clouds. And the clouds, and now I forgot what is the how I will translate this musakhar. Fixed and zarf, yeah, it is bayna samai is zarf zaman. Oh, zaman or makan, think about it. Bayna samai, between the sky, makan, right? It has to do with the place, right? So as-sahab al-musakhiri bayna samai, this is connected to as-sahab al-musakhiri. You can call it zarf idafa mutalik bil as-sahab. Okay, no worries, my dear sister, and you will master it. When we make mistake and we try to do things, then as long as we are trying, we master things. But when we stop trying, then things get difficult. So bayna samai wal ardi, between the sky and the earth, is then mutalik bil as-sahabi. Okay, it's a tough one, yeah, but that's how you learn. This is what you wanted to do, right? You wanted to go over this ayah, and I'm grateful to you that you wanted to do this. This is a tough ayah. Okay, so was-sahab al-musakhkhari bayna as-samai wal-ardi, bayna as-samai wal-ardi is zarf, and it is connected to an ism right before it. And I have taught you this concept as well. Sometimes you will see zarf and jar wal majroor that will be connected to something that is right before them. Okay, you can just call it mutalik bil as-sahab. Or there is another way to connect them too, but that's going to be too far of a stretch. La ayatin. What is la ayatin? La, lam fatha la, li. It is, if it was li ayatin, it was jar wal majroor, but this is la ayatin. Lam fatha la. Huh? This is here your lam tawqeed is, and this lam tawqeed is called lamul muzahlaqa because it made ismu inna slid to the end of the verse, towards the end of the verse. Yes or no? Make sense or no? Hmm. So this is your ismu inna. This is your ismu inna. This is your ismu inna. This is inna and this is ismuha. Okay. Then comes liqaumin yaqilun. Liqaumin. What is liqaumin? Jar wal majroor. How will you connect qaumin with yaqiluna? Can they be connected? First of all, determine what kind of a ism you are looking at. Barakallahu feek. Yes, it is your mawsuf sifa because qawmin is common ism followed by jumla failure. They are making mawsuf was sifa. Qawm is ism jama. Yaqiluna has a pronoun wawil jama'a that is going back to qawm, and they are connected through a fragment called mawsuf sifa, which is your advanced mawsuf sifa. Yaqiluna is going to be fi mahalli jarrin because Qawm is gerund status. Right? Complex mawsuf sifa, right? Aisha, clear? Ranaz, with me or no? Everything understood so far? Now, I have taught you if you have a common ism followed by jar majroor, what can be the relationship between them? If you have a common ism followed by jar majroor, yes, but you have been taught, right, how they are complex mawsuf sifas, complex. That's why we are going to call it complicated or complex mawsuf sifas, right? So coming back to the verse again, if there is a jar majroor, if there is a jar majroor wal majroor that is following a communism, can we make a connection between them? Yes, there is an answer already. Can we make any connection between a communism and the jar wal majroor fragment? Yes, we can. What connection? Mawsuf sifa, right? Kitabum min Allahi, Rasulum min Allahi, Zikrun min Allahi, right? Reminder from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Science for people of intellect. Can I connect these two through Mawsuf sifa ayatin liqawmi yaqiluna? Can this be connected? What do you think? Who agrees or does not agree? Yes, we can. Ayatin, communism, followed by jar wal majroor, right? Liqawmi yaqiluna. So there can be, this is all connected. And this was so hard to, explain in the first term or a second term. And, sometimes you just tell people, okay, yes, we are going to skip over these things. We're not going to, completely do them. There is another relationship that I'm going to teach you some day later. But Alhamdulillah, it's about time that you are able to now see how you can connect long verses, different fragments, and you can put them in, how you can, put things together. I hope this was not that hard. It was, but I did not make it very complicated for you all. Everyone with me so far? Type 1 if you are. Mhm. Indeed, in the creation of the skies and the earth, and the succession of the night and the day, and the ship that flows in the sea with what benefits people, and what Allah sends down from the sky of water, then He gives life with it to the earth after its death, and He spreads in it all different kinds of creatures, and the alteration of the winds and the clouds that have been fixed between the skies and the earth surely are signs for people who want to understand, who try to understand, who have intellect. Make sense? Yes. If qawmin jar wal majroor fi mahalli jarrin, yes, it's going to be not fi mahalli jarrin. This chunk li qawmin yaqinuna. If I'm going to connect it to ayatin, it's going to be nasb, right? Yeah. Make sense? Because if it is a sifa for ayatin, ayatin is nasb in status because of inna, right? Yeah. I hope this was clear to you all, right? Okay. So I think that was, alhamdulillah, enough of a review of our Mawsuf Sifa, our Atf, and our Harf Nasb wa Ismuha. Let's try to learn another topic, which is Kana wa Ikhwatuha. Okay? Kana wa Ikhwatuha. Akhwatuha. So as far as Akhwatuha goes, I'm not going to go into detail. A little disclaimer before I start teaching you this topic. It's going to be just an introduction to Kana. Introduction means you are just being introduced to kana. You are not going to be given details of each and every nuances that kana has. Okay, you're just going to be briefly introduced to kana, and you will understand for the most part, but inshallah there is a lot to come later. Okay, when you learn about a fail which is tam, which is a complete fail, you have been taught a complete fail must have three things. It must have three things. It must have an action, right? There is an action in a fail, hadas. There is a tense or time, zaman, in the fail. And in Arabic, every fail has a damir. This part never gets taken away from the fail. Otherwise, a fail is not a fail if there is no pronoun. Remember one thing, okay? There's a different terminology. If a fail does not have a fail, if a fail is an ismu fail, then you call it ismu fail. You don't just call it fail, okay? A fail must have a pronoun in it. In Arabic, every fail has a pronoun that you always are asked to look for, right? Whenever I teach you any fail, I ask you, look for the file or naibul file, right? So, three things a fail must have: a fail tam, which is a complete fail; a normal fail, it must have an action; it must have a time or tense; it must have a pronoun. If I give you an example, nasara, it means he helped. Do you think it is a fail tam? Yes or no? It is a fail tam because it has pronoun, it has an action which is to help, and it has a tense where I have used a past tense, so it is a word that is stuck in time. Nasara, he helped. A word is stuck in time, so it has all three, so it is fail tam. Now, when we were learning about Laysa means he is not. Do you think Laysa is a complete fail? Does Laysa have action in it? Yes or no? No, there was no action in it. Was Laysa with the time? Do we see time in Laysa? He is not. Yes, we do have time. My dear sisters, we do have time. Yes, the time is not according to what you would expect, but there is a time. He is not. We are not. This are. Remember when we were learning about fail naqis in our term 2, I think, when I was teaching you negation in our term 2 in Laysa, and when you go to the recording, if someone wants to go back to the recording, you will see it does have a time. This is, are, am. These are the helping verbs, okay? Helping verbs, and these have time. Give me the past tense form for is. What will be the past tense form for is? Was, right? And in future you can say will, you can make a future tense out of it as well. So therefore it does have a time or a tense, but whatever is missing is, it is action that is missing. He is not. The pronoun is there, the time is there, but action is not there. When something is not there, we call it defective. And this defect, the fail is defective because it lacks an action, because action is important, right? A fail must have an action, and if it does not have an action, that fail is called naqis. So similar to Laysa, we have kana, that can, in most cases, you will see, will be deficient of action. For example, if I give you something like he was, do you see any action here? Do you see tense there? Yes, you see tense, you see pronoun, you see tense, you see pronoun, but you do not have action. So kana in that sense is, in most cases, you will see it as naqis fail, okay, because it lacks an action. So whenever I was teaching you Nasara table or Yansuru table, the pronouns were either called file or naibul file, right? You either call them file or naibul file. But if something does not have an action, something does not have an action, can you call the pronoun if a word does not have an action? If kana is lacking an action, can you call that pronoun within kana as failuhu damir mustatir hua? Is it right to call it file? File means the doer of an action. No, you cannot call it file. You will call that, instead of calling the pronoun as file, you are going to now call it ismu kana, just like you learned in Laysa. You never call damir mustatir hua in case of Laysa as file, filuhu hua. No, you call it always ismu Laysa. Remember? We did it a couple of months ago. Everyone with me so far? So if I asked you, if I give you this table here, and I asked you, what is this highlighted word? What is this highlighted word? Give me the name for this highlighted word, how we have learned this. Name. I need a name. There is an alif here. What do we call this alif, my dear sisters, if you remember? There's a simple fail with a pronoun at the end, and the name for this is aliful isnain. Aliful isnain. Alif of dual, right? The action is done by two people in third person. Third person action was done by two people in the third person form. However, since kana lacks an action, I cannot call an action or a doer. I have to call this aliful isnain now. What is this, the name for this aliful isnain now? Should I call it file or should I call it ismu kana? Ismu kana. In the case of kanu, this waw here is a pronoun. Now I'm going to call this waw as ismu kana as well. In the case of kanat, the mir mustatir here is going to be called ismu kana. In case of kanata, aliful isnain is going to be called as ismu kana. In case of kunna, nunun niswa is going to be called as ismu kana. In case of kunta, ta'ul file is going to be called as ismu kana. Kuntuma, again, ta is going to be called as ismu kana. Kuntum, again, ta'ul file is going to be called as ismu kana. And all these stars, these 6 stars are going to be called as ismu kana. And then the 7th ta is also going to be called as ismu kana. And in case of kunna, na is going to be called as ismu kana. Everyone understood this so far? Whenever we are going to see kana as fail naqis, we are going to call pronoun within kana as ismu kana. We are not going to call it file, because kana, when it is defective, when it is naqis, which is the case in most of the which will be the case in throughout the Quran, you will see that you will call it everything, you will call everything as ismu, ismu, ismu. You are not going to call that as file. Okay, keep that in mind, and do not forget your pronouns, the names for your pronouns. Okay, kana also has a present tense form as well. You have seen it in Quran. Now you will see it in the form of a table. So the present tense form for kana is yakunu, yakunani, yakununa, takunu, takunani, yakunna, takunu, takunani, takununa, takunina, takunani, takunna, akunu, nakunu. You are seeing visible pronouns in 2 cases here. Aliful isnain in all these 4 cases is going to be again ismu kana. Wawil jama'a ismu kana, nunun nisba ismu kana, wawil jama'a ismu kana, nunun nisba ismu kana. Yaul mukhataba that you see in case of your fi'l mudare, anti representing fa'il anti now is not going to be fa'il, it's going to be called ismuka. Yes, you will see it. Yes, I think you will see it. Yes, it is in Quran as well. I think so. Not 100%, but I think we will come across with example. Yeah. So everyone with me. The rest, if I ask you, who is what's a pronoun called in akunu? What are you going to tell me? It is damir mustatir. Very well done. Damir mustatir ana. Damir mustatir ana is going to be fa'il or ismu kana. اسمه كان. نكون ضمير مستتر نحن اسمه كان. تكون ضمير مستتر أنت اسمه كان. تكون ضمير مستتر هي اسمه كان. يكون ضمير مستتر هو اسمه كان. Everyone with me so far. Alhamdulillah, I think this is, if you go back, you will inshallah remember most of the stuff. I think because we have gone over these topics several times, the concept of the visible pronoun, the hidden pronoun, the concept of identifying the pronoun at the end of your word, and the concept of why we are now calling it ismu kana instead of calling it a fail, because a file, because file is for an action. File is for an action. If there is no action, you have to give the same pronoun and different name, which is ismu, right? Just like we did in Lisa. Yes, in case of fail mudare, you see more hidden pronouns. Yes, you are right. So, should I go ahead? Is this clear so far? Type 1 if it is. Okay. So now when you have to, when you are going to be asked about the status of the pronoun in case of both fail madin nakis kana or fail mudare, what is the status? What do you think is the status of these ismus? What do you think? Always remember, it's always going to be rough in status, okay? It's always going to be a rough in status, okay? When it enters the sentence, no, it is not a doer. It's not a doer, but still it is ismu kana, because it does not do an action, but it's kind of like how you see ismu inna is in sync with inna, right? So have nasba ismuha is in sync with whatever inna does. But when we were, forget about inna actually, think about laysa. In case of laysa, laysu, all those ismus were rough in status. Okay? All those fail nakis, the pronoun in the fail nakis will be rough in status. Okay? Everyone with me so far? And why they will be? Why they will be? I will tell you now. These af'al, they enter jumla ismiya. Okay? Now, you don't treat kana as jumla failure anymore because it is defective. Okay? Since it is defective, you don't treat kana as jumla failure. The sentence that has kana as fail naqis is treated as jumla ismiya. Remember, the first thing you have to know is that the sentence that has kana, which is naqis, is going to be treated as jumla ismiya. In jumla ismiya, what are the parts of jumla ismiya, my dear sisters? In a regular jumla ismiya, what do we see? Regular Jumla Ismiya, standard Jumla Ismiya has Mubtada and Khabar, okay? Mubtada, Khabar. Keep that in mind, okay? And what is the status of your Mubtada? What is the status of your subject? Don't come. Okay? It is rough in status. Similarly, your ismus are also rough in status, okay? What is the Khabar of your Jumla Ismiya? What have we learned about the status of the Khabar of Jumla Ismiya? It is rough in status. Huwa maridun. He is sick. Huwa maridun. He is sick. Maridun is the Khabar of huwa, right? Huwa is Mubtada, maridun is Khabar, and it is rough in status. But when I have kaana in the sentence, do you know what kaana does to the Khabar? Just like Laysa, its sister, it makes Khabar mansoob. What happens to the Khabar? Khabar is now nasb in status. It is a sister of Laysa. Kaana is a sister of Laysa, and just as Laysa, what happens to the Khabar of Laysa, it is nasb in status. Similarly, Khabar of Kaana is also nasb in status. Can you see here? Kaana maridun. It's not maridun anymore. If I ask you what is ismu kaana in this sentence, in kaana maridun, maridan, what is the ismu kaana here? Who is the ismu kaana? Huwa. What's the status of ismu kaana? Damir mustatir huwa. What is the status? Ismu kaana. I'm not asking about khabar yet. Ismu kaana, rough in status. Khabru kaana, nasb in status. Ismu laysa, rough in status. Khabru laysa, nasb in status. Keep that in mind. They are sisters because they work a very similar way. They are called af'alul nasikha. They are not only called naqisa, but they are also called af'alul nasikha. Why are they calling nasikha? Why are they being called nasikha? Do they do any change of the rule? Do you see any change in any rule here? Yes or no? They abrogate the khabar. Barakallahu feek. Yes, your khabar was supposed to be rough in status. They came and they made your khabar nasb in status. That is why they are called nasikha. They do not have any action, therefore they are called naqisa. Okay, they are called naqisa because they don't have an action, they are defective. And they are called nasikha because instead of keeping khabar rough in status, leaving it in a rough form, they are changing the status of our khabar. It is either going to be nasb in status, or if it is a sentence, what is it going to be? If the khabar of kaana is sentence, what is going to be the status of khabar in that case? Fi mahalli nasbin, right? Fi mahalli nasbin, my dear sisters. Barakallahu fi. So proud of you all. I'm going a little slow so that everyone catches up to the concepts that we are reviewing today. And, because it's been a while that we have covered topic of Laysa. So, inshallah, let's see what happens. So, you do not have is in Quran. Do we have is in Quran? No, there is no is in Quran, right? Huwa mu'minun. Do you see any is here? You have he, believer, but do you have any helping verb here? No, you do not have. Keep that in mind, my dear sisters. There is no is. You have to inject in is in your translation. It's not already there. You do not have am, you do not have are. But when it comes to is not, do we have is not in Quran? Is not, are not, am not. Yes, we do have that, right? It is in the form of laysa. Okay, if I have to say I am not, I will say lastu. If I have to say you are not, I will say lasti, like you girls, lasti. If I have to say you all females are not, I will say lastunna. There are you are not, there is are not, am not, is not, but there is no is in Quran, and it is injected. But when it comes to was, there is a was in Quran, which is in terms of kaana. Okay, kaana means he was, it was. So was is present in Quran. Remember that. If I have to say, I'm narrating to you a story, he was a believer, I will just say kana mu'minan. Make sense or no? Kana minal mushrikeen. He was from the disbelievers. Kana means he was from the disbelievers. Hmm? Everyone with me so far understood this? That there is no is in Quran, there is no am or are in Quran, but there is was in Quran, and there is not, are not, am not in Quran. Okay, keep that in mind. Is not, am not, are not is in the form of laysa, was, were is in the form of kana. Okay, what happens to kana and lafzul jalala combination? You will see in Quran many verses, especially Surah An-Nisa is full of verses where you will see the verses ending with kana Allahu construction. Okay, so if I have to ask you in here, kana, fail nakis, fail madin nakis, Allahu, what is the labeling for lafzul jalala here? Give me the labeling of lafzul jalala. It is ismu kana. It is ismu kana. Hmm? Then once you have determined ismu kana, what do you look for? Khabru kana. Hmm? You look for khabru kana and you see khabru kana as aliman hakiman. So now let's see here. Can I say, will it befit if I say Allah was ever knowing, ever wise? No, ma'azallah, right? Allah has always been. Allah will always be. Allah was, Allah will be, Allah is. Right? Allah has always been ever knowing, ever wise. So remember this when it comes with Lafzul Jalala, Kana is not going to be translated just in the past tense form. You cannot say Allah was ever knowing, ever wise. Okay? Allah has always been ever knowing, ever wise. Okay? It encompasses all the times when you see kana with name of Allah, the highest. Is this concept understood? Because this is something that you will be doing a lot, will be practicing with me all the time. Okay? Always rough in status. Ismu kana, always rough in status. Yes. Your pronoun in the field is within the field is always rough in status. Remember that, okay, inshallah. And one thing I just don't want to forget it. The words that we started doing in the class, fi halkir samawati wal ardi. Let me just go back because I was I'm just reminded of the fact that we did not give the labeling to this part. We found our ismu inna, but we did not label fi halkir samawati. We did actually. We did our we did call it mutalik bil khabar, right? So your mutalik bil khabar starts with fi halki and it ends with wal ardi. Remember that, okay? I know I just took you to another, because it just, I didn't want to miss this part, okay? So fi halki till al ardi is your mutalik bil khabar and la ayatin was your ismu inna, okay? So now come back to kana. So sorry. Okay. Now, what else we need to know? Okay, so when I have to say, he helped, what do I use? Give me the Arabic for he helped, because we have used nasara in our in for our conjugation, so I think that should not be very hard for you girls to give me in Arabic. He helped. What is the Arabic for that? Nasara. He helped. Okay, so if I have to say, my dear sisters, please don't sleep. This is this real meat now coming, okay? So if I have to say, he used to help, this action did not occur once. It happened many times in the past. Do you know what can I do? I can use kana with fail mudare. It was actually fail mudare. It has to be corrected here. It is fail mudare. It's not fail madin. This one you have to, I have to correct this part. This is kana plus fail mudare. Okay. This one. So if I have to say he used to have, do you know what I can say? Kana yansuru. Kana yansuru. Make sense or no? No. I'm using the present tense form. Kana yansuru. So yansuru is present or past? It's a kana. Yansuru is a present tense. Yansuru is a present tense, but kana is a past, right? Yansuru is a present tense, fil mudare, but I used kana before it to bring the meaning of past continuous. Okay, I will inshallah leave you here. We will go over this Madi Istimrari topic in our next session on Saturday, because you have to join another class, I know. So I will have to end the session and I'm already past my time. So inshallah, we'll catch up on this, I will start from Madi Istimrari in our next session. Okay. So subhanak Allahumma wa bihamdik nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.